The very next place that this author problem manifests is in sales copy. And it's a twofold area of sales copy. Where it manifests first and foremost is that just because you're a writer, you think you can write sales copy. Well, you can if you get the training. But it's a trained, okay? You know, I once in a while I eat in a French restaurant. I can't speak French. That's the difference right there. Okay, just because I eat in a French restaurant, I can't go out there and think I can speak French. I can't. It takes training to learn how to speak French. I don't have very many words in French. I don't speak it. And therefore, you don't speak sales without the training. And yet, as indie writers, we've been forced into writing sales copy for our books. Now, the problem is New York doesn't write sales copy either for anything but the top books. It's the editors who are English majors who are writing the sales copy. And it's horrid. It's just horrid. So you can't go to traditional books and say, oh, well, I'm just doing the same thing that was on so-and-so science fiction book. No, that's because some associate editor right out of Vassar wrote that with no training either. Okay? And because they don't for some reason that just, it's stupid. It's just traditional publishing stupid, so we won't go there. But author problem manifests when you think you can write sales copy without training. You can't. You can write something, you know, but the problem is you don't have the training. You can't even sometimes get the passive verbs out. I mean, you know, that's the basic of basic. Is, you know, there is no passive in sales. There's no contractions in sales. There's no crying in baseball. You know, it's the same thing. There isn't any. But yet, you'll put them in because you're a writer and you think you can write it. And you know your own book better than anybody else. Well, if you got some training in sales, we do an entire 6-week workshop just to get you the basics of the different forms of sales copy. You know, how to do a genre sales, how to do a character opening sales, how to do a detail sales copy. And it just, unless you have all of that and have been practicing it and then remember it every time you get from book to book to book, because you'll automatically drop back into fiction writing, which is different than sales writing. But that's the first place this manifests. The second place is in the content of the sales copy. You know, that really cool scene on chapter 62, you got to put that in because that's just too cool. And that's the author problem. Because no. Okay. Plot, you want to tell, in sales copy, you want to tell the reader what the book's about. A rip-roaring romance that will twist your heart into shreds. That's what the book's about. It's not about, he walked here, he did this, then he walked over here, and then this happened, and then there was a battle, and that's deadly dull. Really dull. Plot is always dull when trying to be described. Just ask someone to tell you the plot of a movie. Not what the movie's about, the plot of the movie. How did it open? Well, it opened with they were laying in bed. Then it opened with them getting up, and then there was a noise outside. And then the noise outside turned out to be their dog. And then, yeah, right. And that's what most of you do with your sales copy. No. That's the author problem. The author problem is you don't know what your book's about. You just put in the plot. No. If any plot is in the book at all, in the sales copy at all, it should be in the first 2 chapters of the book. Readers don't want to know any more than that. And you got to describe, and do it and see the other part, the third manifestation of the author problem here is you can't hype yourself. One of the greatest writers since Tom Clancy. If you were writing thrillers, why wouldn't you say that? Oh, I don't know, because you feel uncertain, and you can't say that about yourself. And hogwash, it's just the author problem. You got an author problem bad. If you can't hype yourself, if you can't compare your writing to somebody else's that's a bestseller and that you think is similar to, if you love Stephen King, you'll love these books. Yeah, that's the author problem. And that's how it manifests in sales copy. covers, sales copy. We're not done yet.